We continue to report the latest developments in the weekend main news bulletin. The U.S. press has claimed that the United States and Israel are secretly planning behind closed doors to take control of Iran's enriched uranium. According to the news website Axios, the option of conducting a ground operation by special forces is also on the table. The United States and Israel are reportedly pursuing Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium. The claim belongs to the U.S.-based news website Axios. According to the report, the Tehran administration currently possesses 450 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%. If this stock reaches 90% purity, it would be enough material to produce 11 nuclear bombs. In the report, based on 4 sources cited by Axios, it is stated that discussions between Washington and Tel Aviv include the possibility of a special forces operation to secure this uranium stockpile. However, it is not yet clear whether such a step will be carried out solely by the United States or as a joint U.S. Israel operation. It is also stated that a possible operation would likely take place in the later stages of the war, and only if Iran reaches a point where it can no longer pose a threat to the soldiers of the two countries. According to a U.S. official speaking to Axios, the Trump administration has 2 options on the table. Either Iran's uranium will be completely removed from the country, or nuclear experts will be used to dilute the material on site. Within this framework, it is estimated that the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, could also participate in the operation with the support of its scientists. The plan is on the table, but the exact location of Iran's enriched uranium and how it could be accessed is still not fully known. The issue was also asked to U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump said, "We wouldn't do it now," but he left the door open for a possible operation. At the nuclear sites, we could find out about that. We haven't talked about it, but it was a total obliteration. They haven't been able to get to it, and at some point maybe we will. White House spokesperson Caroline David also commented on the issue to Axios. She said that Trump is acting wisely by keeping all options on the table and not ruling anything out. So will the United States deploy troops to Iran? U.S. President Donald Trump said that American troops could be deployed to Iran if there is a very good reason. Trump also stated that they do not want to make a deal with Iran. He emphasized that he wants to be involved in the process of selecting Iran's next leader. President Donald Trump gave this response to questions about deploying troops to Iran. Trump answered journalists' questions aboard the presidential aircraft Air Force One. He made significant statements regarding the war in Iran, which has been ongoing for more than a week. He left the door open for the possibility of a U.S. ground operation in Iran. "I don't even want to talk about that. It's not an appropriate question. I'm not going to answer it. Could happen? If there's a very good reason, it's possible. There must be a very strong justification. I can say this. If we do it, they would suffer such heavy losses that they would no longer be able to fight on the ground." Trump was also asked whether there was a plan to take control of Iran's oil and nuclear facilities with American troops. The U.S. president replied, "Not now, but maybe in the future. We'll see." The U.S. president also stated that he wants to be involved in the process of selecting Iran's new leader, adding, "We don't want to come back and deal with this every 5 or 10 years. We have many negotiation cards, maybe even the highest level ones. But we are not looking for a compromise. They would like a deal, but we don't want it. I don't want to come back here every 5 or 10 years. We want a leader who will not drag his country into war." Another response came to U.S. President Donald Trump's call to pardon Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu in his corruption trial. Israeli President Isaac Herzog said, "Everything is on the table, but I must follow Israeli law." Trump's request for Netanyahu's pardon received a response from Tel Aviv. Israeli President Isaac Herzog appeared on Fox News and addressed Trump's call regarding the corruption trial of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Herzog said, "Everything is on the table, but it must comply with Israeli law. I said I would evaluate everything seriously. However, the process must proceed according to Israeli law, and I am obliged to wait for the opinions that must be presented to me by the relevant authorities. That is why, of course, everything is on the table, but it must be done according to Israeli law." Herzog also stated that he respects President Trump, who made the pardon request. "Frankly, I have tremendous respect for President Trump, and I receive his criticisms with great love and respect, because he is the leader of the free world who changed history. However, in this matter, which is an internal issue of Israel, I have responsibilities. I took an oath, and I am the president of the State of Israel. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump said in an interview with Axios that Netanyahu should be pardoned so that he could focus on the war. Last year, during his speech in the Israeli parliament, Trump also turned to Herzog and asked, "Why don't you pardon Netanyahu?"
President, why don't you give him a pardon?